There you go. Okay, bro.
Great success.
We're fucking going, dude.
Are we on? We're on?
We're live.
We're on right now? I don't believe you.
How many times are you going to say that on this fucking
It never
podcast?
gets old. It never gets old. All right, everyone. Yo, welcome back. This is the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your boy T here. I'm here with the mad scientist, Mr. Mike. How you doing, dog?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I just fucking beat everybody by like 0.8 points this week, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah, how's it feel to know that Aaron Rodgers threw the ball to Montgomery, and then he ran it in for a passing touchdown, and then they gave him a rushing touchdown instead, and you beat me by less than 1 point.
Here's the thing, dude. Fuck you. No.
Solid.
No, but hey, I lucky was at work though, and I didn't see like what happened. And I heard I heard all these reports and all these people bitching on Twitter. Are you fucking kidding me? That's goddamn. That's a pass. That's a pass. And I thought like maybe it was like an overhand, but it kind of was like right behind him, and it was more of a shuffle. That is clearly.
I know. I tried to show you. I was like, bro, he passed it, and you were like, no, bro, it's kind of like behind. And then I showed you, and you were like, fuck, that's a pass.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
all right, I'm still waiting for this stat correction to come through. NFL, get it together. You probably cost millions and millions of people a win by this Aaron Rodgers touchdown pass right there. I mean,
dude, I thought I was in the clear. I had like 60 points. I was beating you by like 60 points. You had what? Devonta Adams.
I had the stack of Devonta Adams and Aaron Rodgers, and they I think they put up like 30, 35 each, almost something crazy like that. So, and I lost by 1 because they didn't give him that touchdown. So, good game. Touche.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so this week, you got Aaron Rodgers. He's on a bye. We're going to talk about some waiver wire pickups. We're going to talk about maybe some streaming options at certain positions. But let's just jump right into it for the quarterbacks. Like I said, if you got Aaron Rodgers on a bye this week, one of the quarterbacks that's available, Jameis Winston. So Anthony, he was big on Jameis Winston coming into the year. He was always talking about him, the potential he has. I mean, we saw what Fitzpatrick did in that offense.
Right.
He was the QB1 those first 3 weeks. So Jameis Winston, he came out. It wasn't ugly. It was ugly from like a professional standpoint. He a couple picks, turned the ball over. He didn't look that good. But from a fantasy perspective, he got you everything you want. I think he put up like a top 5, top 3 performance last week. So
it seems like quarterbacks have kind of leveled out. They're not getting these outrageous numbers anymore.
Yeah.
That they had the first like 2 weeks.
Yeah. But Jameis Winston, he's available in 40% of the leagues. And he's a guy you can pick up, and he could be your starter for the rest of the year. So another guy who's available out there who's been playing really good, Andy Dalton, available 40% of leagues as well. So if I was gonna have pick a quarterback to be my number 1 priority, it'd be Jameis Winston, and I'm sure Anthony would agree on that as well for Jameis Winston. But Andy Dalton also available 40% of leagues. Let's just jump into some quarterbacks. Maybe you got to stream some quarterbacks. I know me and you this week, neither of us have a quarterback. You were trying to see who I'm going to get. Yeah. I have a priority before you. Some of the quarterbacks that were there, Baker Mayfield, 60% available. He's going against the Bucs defense. They're the 32nd ranked pass defense. So,
and he has and then he plays Pittsburgh the week after, which is Pittsburgh's secondary is pretty crappy. So you might be able to get 2 weeks out of him if you're looking for somebody. Like if you don't just have the bye.
Would you feel comfortable streaming Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. He's like one of my top options this week.
I mean, any team that's playing against the Bucs defense, we always talk about it. You kind of want any piece of that team that's playing against the Bucs defense because they're just terrible. They're just giving it up consistently. So yeah, maybe a streaming option, Baker Mayfield. Another one, and I know people are gonna think I'm crazy for this one. But like I said, if you got some players on a bye or whatnot and you need a streaming option, Eli Manning, available in 90% of the leagues, as he should be because he's trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you were talking about maybe picking him up, but man, I don't feel comfortable. I don't care who he's playing. I just don't feel comfortable putting Eli Manning in there.
Yeah.
3rd and down syndrome is out of my lineup.
Yeah, and you're right. But there's some of the numbers, because I'm always looking at the numbers. So he's going against Atlanta. It's in Atlanta, so it's in a dome. You don't got to worry about weather or anything like that. Atlanta should be able to score some points. They're at home. But Atlanta's 31st against the pass. So, and another stat I came upon. So that first game, the Falcons, they played against the Eagles. Nick Foles came out. He was captain, check down. Didn't give up a touchdown pass to the quarterback. Since that game against the Eagles, the Falcons have allowed 3 or more passing touchdowns in 5 straight games. So I mean, if you've got weapons like Odell, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram might be back. I mean, Shaquan Barkley, obviously, you just got to dump him the ball and he can take it 90 yards down the field. So, I mean, against a defense that's given up 3 or more touchdowns 5 straight games, I'm possible streaming option.
I can I can hear the argument you're making for it. I just fuck. It just makes me so nervous, man.
It does sound pretty bad, huh?
Yeah, but no, I agree though. Like, yeah, especially with Evan Ingram possibly playing. Is it this third? When are they playing?
They're playing. I believe it's Monday night.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Okay, so you got a while. So Evan Ingram has a high possibility of coming back. He practiced today.
Yeah.
He did some little bit limited participation today. So,
I mean, it's like I know Eli did really bad. He shit the bed last week, but the Eagles' front seven's really good. Their defense is pretty good. I mean, good enough to win the Super Bowl.
He had like 1.8 seconds to throw the ball every down.
The Falcons' defense, not good. They are not good. So, like I said, they've given up 3 or more passing touchdowns in 5 straight games.
You know what the Eagles?
Even if he gets me like 250 and 2, it's a decent streaming option.
Yeah,
so
that's
we'll
true.
See.
Yeah, especially like you have Aaron Rodgers this week. A lot of people need that.
Big Ben's on a bye, right?
Yeah, Big Ben's on a bye. A lot of people have quarterbacks on a bye this week. So
yeah,
Russell Wilson's on a bye.
For sure. All right, so let's jump into the running backs. These would be players if you have like the number 1 waiver priority, or if you're in a fab league. These are some players that I'd probably dish out a good amount or use my top waiver claim on them. So Marlon Mack finally came back healthy. That backfield's kind of been a mess. You got Jordan Wilkins who was kind of there, and then Nyheim Hines kind of emerged as this pass catching guy because they're always down, and Anthony doesn't think that Andrew Luck's going to throw the ball 60 times, but he's like, hold my beer.
How many times did he throw it this week, do you think?
I don't know, but he's averaging throwing the ball 55 times a game. So that's ridiculous. So
that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, Marlon Mack came back. He had 12 rushes for 89 yards. He caught 1 of 2 targets for 4 yards. I think he dropped a target, the very first target of the game. But he looked good. I think he split snaps with Nyheim Hines for the most part. I think it was maybe like a 55-45. Hines actually had the leverage there, but they each only had 2 targets. So it's not like Hines came out here and he had like 10 targets and Mack only had 2 targets. It's like he got all of the rushing workload and then he split the passing workload with Hines. So Marlon Mack, if he could stay healthy, I mean, he's a guy where they thought he would be the number 1, but then he got hurt. So that's kind of why they brought in Wilkins and Hines to kind of fill that void that he left. So he'd be a guy who I would definitely be trying to pick up. I actually kind of jumped the gun a week or 2 ago, and I grabbed him in 3 of my leagues just to see what happens.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that you grabbed him and not Corey Clement in any league.
Yeah. See, I've been pretty spot on with some of these early pickups or people getting hurt and whatnot. So hopefully this one works out for me because I definitely need a running back in some of these leagues. So hopefully he can come through for me. Next one, Ito Smith.
That's big.
Big, yeah. He's available in 85% of the leagues. And the reason you want Ito Smith, Freeman is on the IR.
Breaking news. Freeman dead until week 16.
Yeah.
It's like Jesus.
Yeah. So Ito Smith, he's, like I said, he's available in 85% of leagues. And he's had a rushing touchdown or at least a touchdown in general for 3 straight games. So they're giving him the ball. Even when they get close, they're giving him the ball. Definitely go pick him up because it's going to be him and Tevin Coleman who are splitting the ball. Even if it's like a 60-40 mix, I mean, he's still going to get the ball. And their offense is pretty good. The Falcons' offense is good. And they're always going to be in these shootout games where they're trailing because their defense
and they're not going to throw it to
trash.
Julio in the red zone. So
yeah, 100%.
So they're going to give it to Ito.
I mean, like I said, he's had 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games. So obviously they're willing to give him the ball and, he can find the end zone. So Marlon Mack and Ito Smith will probably be at the top of my waiver priorities. Just some other players, because like I've said, I'm always looking to see who's available and whatnot. I mean, most of these websites or most of these other like experts, they only tell you the players that are available in 50% or more leagues. But it's like, all right, so
you'd be surprised. I mean, like there's people that are getting dropped. Like people draw. We saw Russell Wilson was on the. I know it's not a running back, but the fact is that people in your league will drop people. Yeah. He's 90% owned, and he's dropped in one of our leagues, and it's a 12-person league PPR. Like it doesn't make any sense why he's there.
He needs to be rostered for sure.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter. I don't care about this 50% thing. You need to know about these guys, even if they're 30% available.
Yeah, if they're available, you need to go get them. So just some other names. I was kind of looking around to see what's going on and stuff. So we touched on last week the Eagles running back situation, Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement, and We kind of went over them and how they did in the game last Thursday against the Giants. But Wendell Smallwood still available in 50% of leagues. Corey Clement still available in 40% of leagues. These guys need to be 100% owned because they're in a committee right now. Sproles is going to come back. It might mix things up. There's all this rumor they might trade for someone like a LaShawn or maybe like a Le'Veon Bell, but who knows? But in the meantime, Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement need to be rostered in like every single league, because they're getting 50-50 split workload, it seems like. So another name, Jarvis Buck Allen. He had a bad game this week, but besides that, he was getting like 10 plus PPR points every single week. He's available in 45% of leagues. You got Austin Eckler, 30% available. These ones kind of threw me off too. I was kind of wondering why these players aren't 100% owned, but Tariq Cohen and Kerryon Johnson are both available in 25% of leagues. So, I mean, it's like maybe someone, crazy. Yeah, maybe someone. Kerryon Johnson was on a bye last week. They dropped someone to pick someone else up. Maybe he's there. I would definitely go grab him. Kerryon Johnson's had 10 or more PPR points in 4 straight games. So the thing with Kerryon Johnson is they're just not giving him enough workload. So hopefully throughout the year, maybe that expands, maybe that grows. But he's definitely got the potential right there. He could definitely be a true 3-down workhorse back. If it's
just hard with that team when those wide receivers are getting so many targets.
Yeah,
it's hard to give the love to the running backs.
Or even like I said, he's been doing good, but then when they get into the 1 yard line, they bring in LeGarrette Blount. And, Kerryon Johnson will have like 12 rushes for 85 yards, 0 touchdown, and LeGarrette Blount will have like 5 carries for 3 yards and 2 touchdowns because he had 2 1-yard rushing touchdowns. Right. So it's just ridiculous. Let's touch on this Niners backfield real quick because the report was Matt Breida was going to miss. He had hot ankle sprain. They didn't know if he's going to play. Everyone was thinking like, oh, Alfred Morris, he should be in line for 15 to 20 touches.
Yeah, you put your waiver 1 priority on that, right?
Yeah, I wasted my number 1 overall waiver priority on Alfred Morris just because I thought the volume was going to be there. I was struggling for a second running back. Breida, I don't know, he's superhuman strength. He plays out of nowhere. So Morris doesn't get any run. And then all of a sudden, Raheem Mostert, if I'm even pronouncing that right, comes in. He rushes the ball 12 times for 87 yards. He actually led the 49ers in rushing attempts last night. So this backfield's kind of a mess. It's all over the place. Breida's probably the one you want. Just keep an eye on this Mostert guy. He looked good. Like, he looked explosive. Yeah. He's almost like a mix of like maybe Morris and Breida combined because he's a bigger guy, but he was shifty. Breida's good, but he's like a really small guy. And that's why he keeps getting banged up because he's not a big guy and he's taking all this abuse. So Raheem Mostert, he's available in 99% of leagues. No one has him, so just a guy to keep an eye on.
If you're super deep.
Yeah, if you're super deep or you just want to take a flyer. I mean, sometimes
just stash him.
Sometimes I'd rather be a week early instead of a week late. Like the Marlon Mack thing. Like I went out, I grabbed him in a couple leagues. When he was still hurt. He sat on my bench for 2 weeks, but now he came back and it looks potential. There's potential there.
Right.
Maybe go out and grab this Raheem Mostert guy. I got to figure out the right pronunciation for his name, but maybe go pick him up.
I feel like we don't have the right pronunciation for anybody's name.
I know, right? Just go pick him up, though. I mean, throw him on your bench. I mean, obviously, maybe Alfred Morris is just a guy. Maybe he's just a veteran backup. He's just there. And if something happens to Breida, if Breida goes down, maybe Mostert's the guy who comes out and takes over.
What do you think about Kyle Juszczyk?
Juszczyk's decent. I think he's more of like a PPR deep flyer. But as long as Breida's there, he has no value, and he doesn't really run the ball that much either. So, but all right, cool. So we'll jump over to the wide receivers. So a name that everyone in draft season was high on. I saw him going as high as like the 2nd or 3rd round. Was Marquise Goodwin, and he was just battling injuries. Tough schedule, no Jimmy G. So like everything's been trending down for him. Bad, just everything's been going bad for him. He finally had his blow-up game. He had like 2 touchdowns, I don't know, over 100 yards. Just he
caught that one bomb.
Yeah, he demonstrated his speed. He's got world-class Olympic speed, and he demonstrated it. He's got that Tyreek Hill speed. Where
Chris Collinsworth wouldn't shut up about. I think it was Chris about how he played. He was a track star. He was a track star.
Yeah, he's like I think he made the Olympics or team or something like that. So, it's tough to want to have any confidence of playing that guy, with Beathard or CJ Beathard or whatever his name is, throwing him the ball. But, I mean, if all it takes is one 50, 60-yard touchdown pass to put up some points,
right?
I mean, why not go get him? So, but he's available in 55% of leagues. he'd be a guy who I mean, at least he's rosterable. You know,
Yeah,
have him
yeah.
on your bench at least. And if anything, I'd rather have Marquise Goodwin on my bench putting up 20 points instead of playing against Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
scores
yeah.
20 points against me.
Yeah, very true.
So, yeah, 55% available. Another guy, Chris Godwin, available in 60% of the league. We were just talking about Jameis Winston at the start of the episode. You know, their defense is bad. They're always going to be throwing the ball. Chris Godwin, available in 60% of leagues. He's had a touchdown in 4 of the 5 games they've played. So he's kind of like a red zone monster. Jameis was spreading the ball around a lot, but it just seems like Godwin, he's got a nose for the end zone. I don't know. I mean, how would you feel comfortable starting that? I mean, when you look at it, 4 touchdown in 4 or 5 games.
Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
With Jameis Winston back, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Who is Tampa Bay playing this week?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but I mean, like we were saying, that they're gonna have to be throwing the ball. I feel like they're gonna be throwing the ball a ton. They can't run the ball, so Godwin's definitely a guy. I mean, like I said, I'd rather have him on my bench, even if I don't feel confident enough throwing him in there. I'd rather have him on my bench, you know, putting him up big game.
Playing against. That's a super valid point. But yeah, just getting him away from the other teams.
Yeah. All right, so jumping over to another player.
What? Oh yeah, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
I was talking about. I was gonna ask you about Taylor Gabriel, but.
I know he had a good game. Actually, I didn't.
He did good against. He did good against Miami, and then the last game he played was against Tampa Bay. He got like 30 points against Tampa Bay the week before. He plays New England this week though.
Could be good. I mean, they're at home.
He's just pretty available in a lot of leagues too.
I mean, yeah, if you need some depth, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't trust Trubisky, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like I said, I'd rather have him on my bench scoring 30 points instead of playing against him one week thinking like, oh, I'm playing against Taylor Gabriel. This is going to be easy. And then like he comes out and puts up a 30 burger on me. And I'm like, really? I just lost to fucking Taylor Gabriel. Like, I mean, going out there sometimes.
They just seem to be targeting him even more than Allen Robinson.
Yeah. And I know Anthony Miller was a big name coming into the year. Everyone thought he was going to have a big role. And, you know, even Trey Burton was going to have see a lot of passes. But they obviously signed Taylor Gabriel for a reason and brought him in. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the thing with us, too. It's like, I feel like you get a lot of these other waiver wire people, and they're like, okay, here's my order. Like, I would take this guy over this guy over this guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't go get this guy.
It's very situational.
Yeah, like, we're not doing that. We're not telling you, like, hey, don't go, like, go get Goodwin, don't get Taylor Gabriel, you know, or, you know, go get Godwin, don't get Gabriel. Like, we're just giving you some numbers. We're giving you some stats. And at the end of the day, you got to make your best opinion. You know, go with your gut. That's the best thing I can say to anybody. Like, you know, especially when you're like starting players. Like, you know, I don't know who to start. You know, this guy or this guy. Go with your gut. You know, because at the end of the day, like at least you know like, you went with your gut. You can't have any regrets. You can't go back and be like, oh well, I listened to this guy and you know I lost because I listened to him when I wanted to start this other guy originally. You know, or oh I was gonna pick up this guy but I didn't because the rankings were.
And you won't be mad afterwards either.
Yeah.
If you're doing stuff like that.
So just go with your gut. I mean, like I said, we're just giving you some numbers and some players who should be on your roster at least. You know. So Gabriel, pick him up for sure. So a name I want to touch on real quick too is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS. I guess is what we're gonna call him because he's got this crazy
easy
name. If you follow the Instagram at @AverageBros_fantasyfootball, you would have seen we sent out a post. Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb, they were both inactive last night. We said go get MVS. He was available in 95% of the league.
Guess who didn't do that?
You did.
Your boy was at work, and I forgot.
Yeah, because if you would have thrown him in, if you would have took Allison out and threw him in, it wouldn't even be close.
I played Geronimo Allison 2 weeks in a row, and I've won 2 weeks in a row with him in my lineup.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
With 0 points. I don't know how.
But MVS, he had a good game. He had 3 catches on 6 targets for 103 yards. So, I mean, as long as Cobb or Allison or, you know, one of those guys is out, I mean, he's definitely got some fantasy value. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. You got some value there. Right. So, I mean, Cobb and Allison, they should come back after the bye, but Cobb's getting older. He's getting banged up all the time. I feel like he's at the tail end of his career. He's just like a savvy veteran. MVS, he's a young rookie. Definitely pick him up, especially in dynasty leagues. If you have a dynasty league and he's out there, go grab this guy because a year or two from now, you know, Cobb probably won't be there. Allison, you don't know. MVS could end up being that second receiver, and like Anthony touched on it in the draft season. The Packers always support 2 top 24 wide receivers. So you got Devonta Adams, but then MVS potentially could be like another top 20, top 24 receiver, next year or the year after that. So definitely a name to keep an eye on. So another name, Albert Wilson for the Miami Dolphins. I'm a big Dolphin fan, so let me just tell you, this guy, dude, when watching him run, it's exciting. Like, he's not a deep ball play. He's kind of just like throwing the ball in space, and he's just so quick and shifty and elusive. I love it to have him on my team. Do I feel confident throwing him into my fantasy lineup? I don't know, because like I said, those 2 touchdowns he had, they literally just threw him a screen pass, and he's just juked the fuck out of everybody and just turned the burners on down the field. So I don't know if I'd be sold on him. You still got Devontae Parker, who's probably going to come back. It just seems like they're spreading the ball around way too much in this offense. I don't think, Wilson's like the one. I think he just kind of got lucky and broke off some big plays. So any player on the Dolphins, it's kind of hard. I feel like every week it's different. It's Jakeem Grant on a punt return or a long bomb, like Kenny Stills on a long pass, So I don't know if I would feel comfortable wasting a priority or any fab on Wilson. I don't know. What do you think?
No,
not at all, huh?
I don't think I have any Dolphins players.
Yeah,
I don't think I have one Dolphins player.
I don't feel comfortable starting any.
I might stream Ryan Tannehill if I have to this week, maybe. But
it's a bold strategy, Cotton.
How'd
that work out for you last time?
Terribly. It's probably the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah. All right, so again, we're just gonna touch on some players that are available that are still available that should be owned. You got Kiki Cutie, available 60% of leagues. Just grab him, especially if Will Fuller gets hurt, which he's always known to get nicked up and banged up.
Yeah,
he would instantly jump into that number 2
Might
role.
Slip on his dick at practice,
and he would be at least a weekly flex starter. So Kiki available in 60% of leagues. Michael Crabtree available in 20% of leagues. I don't know how that's.
He went off last week.
Yeah, I don't know why he's not available in every single league. Just some numbers on Crabtree. He's at 8 or more targets in 5 of the 6 games. So, and Flacco's looking for him in the red zone. I've seen a couple games where he's missed him in the red zone a couple times. So, Crabtree's low key been having a pretty decent year. He's missed on a couple red zone opportunities. If you give him like 2 or 3 more touchdowns, people would be talking about him probably more, instead of John Brown. But he's available in 20% of leagues. So if he's out there, I would definitely go get him. I got a juicy schedule down the stretch too.
I keep running into the issue with who to play, John Brown or Michael Crabtree, because I have both of them on in a league.
Yeah,
but
maybe try to trade Crabtree off the name value and just keep John Brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, some more players. Tyler Lockett, available in 25% of leagues. Tyler Lockett needs to be owned in every single league, and he needs to be in your lineup every single week. He's had a touchdown in 5 of 6 games, and it's just like, I don't know, him and Russell Wilson just have this connection. They're just, every game, 5 of 6 games, he has a touchdown. If I told you there's a player out there on the way is available in 25% of the league, and he's had a touchdown in 5 of the 6 games, you'd probably go get that player.
Right.
So go get him.
It's just not the sexiest name, but it's worth it.
I think what him is, and even I'm guilty of this, is he's just never been consistent. He's always been like a boomer bust kind of guy, and it's always been Doug Baldwin, and that's it over there. Right. So I wasn't sold on it. The Seahawks obviously believe in this guy though, because they gave him a fat contract in the offseason, and they extended him for another 3 or 4 years. So they obviously believe in him and his talent, and they want him in Seattle for the next 4 years. They paid him so, but like I said, 5 touchdowns in 6 games. So available in 25% of leagues. I would definitely be going to get Lockett if he's out there. I'm just going to run through some other names real quick that are available. Mohamed Sanu, available in 45% of leagues. Definitely he needs to be rostered. Like I said, that Falcons offense, they're throwing the ball a ton, and he's the number 2. Calvin Ridley's not the number 2 there. Yeah, Ridley had those games where he blew up and everything, but Sanu's ran more routes, and he's got more targets than Calvin Ridley on the year. So he's banged up right now, but I would definitely go pick him up out there. Your guy right here, Mr. 00, Geronimo Allison. He's available in 50% of leagues. I would definitely go grab him.
50?
Yeah. So, and then some
meanwhile, the guy that I keep playing with 0 points, it's available in 50% of leagues.
Because he's good when he's on the field. He's good. And this was one of Anthony's sleepers at the beginning of the year. He talked about Allison, saying how Rodgers and the Packers, they support 2 top 24 receivers.
Anthony's so smart.
He's definitely got some good sleepers right there. Another one of Anthony's sleepers, and the guy you said you were having problems starting or not, John Brown, available in 25% of leagues. So go get him. D.D. Westbrook, available in 65% of leagues. These are just players, like I'm saying, that they just need to be on your roster. They should be on your roster. I guarantee you there's 1 or 2 players on your roster that's a bum. He's not doing anything, and maybe you're just thinking like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I don't use him anyways. He's just sitting there. No, get rid of him and go get someone who's good. You got to look at every player almost as like equity. So each player has a value, a certain, maybe like a numerical value in a sense. So that player on your roster that's a bum who's not doing anything might have like a 0 value, where now you got like an Allison or a John Brown out there. They have like a, I don't know, just, spitballing it, like a 5 or 10 value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's value to certain players compared to others. So now maybe later on you want to try and package trade someone. You can throw that person in there and they add some extra value into that package trade instead of having, a bum on the bench that you're just going to drop anyways, So just go get these players. Like I said, even if they're on your bench and you're not playing them, just get them. They're good. They're putting up points. They need to be owned. So my sleeper of the week, humble brag, Chester Rogers. Available in 85% of leagues. He had a good game. I think he went like 4 for 55 and a touchdown. But he led the team in targets. He had 10 targets. So that was a good matchup for him last week too. But he's had double digit, like 14 or more.
You got
PPR
frustrated
points.
with him in the middle of the game, didn't you?
I
You
did,
sent a
because
text.
he had like 0 points throughout the game, and they were getting smacked. And I was like, man, what is going on? But he came through late. I mean, points are points.
Right.
Whether you get him in the first quarter or the very end, points are points. But yeah, Chester Rogers, he's available in 85% of leagues. And the thing I like about Chester Rogers is this. Andrew Luck's throwing the ball 55 times a game. When T.Y. comes back, obviously he's going to eat some targets and whatnot that. But I feel like in these 3 games when T.Y. has been gone, Chester Rogers and Luck have kind of built a rapport together. And I feel like, it's getting some chemistry. I feel like when T.Y. comes back, that might even help Chester Rogers, because now you got to account for T.Y. I mean, you got Zach Pascal and Ryan Grant on the outside. You're not worried about those guys. But now if I got T.Y. on the outside and he can take the top off the roof, what I'm saying? You get Jack Doyle come back too. You got to account for him and Ebron. Rogers, sneaky guy, like I said, I think
he could be worth something.
I think he should be rostered,
And I don't
especially
think-
in PPR leagues.
and I don't think
standard, maybe not so much, but PPR, I think for sure.
I don't think Chester's going to even be picked up by a lot of people after this week too. So I'm pretty sure he'll still be there after this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten the last 3 games. He's gotten 11 targets, and 10 targets. So
Yeah.
even if he takes a little dip and maybe he only sees 7 or 8 targets a game when Ty comes back, it's still pretty productive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A flex guy. So just keep an eye on him. So just jump over to the tight ends. So we got first beer bet of the year. I beat Anthony. Big Uzi over the.
Oh yeah, Swam.
My name is Geoff.
Jeff, dude, it's fucking Jeff.
Bro, it's fucking Geoff, dog. He's Ukrainian. I looked it up. His ancestry.com. I saw it.
Did you look up the parentheses pronunciation thing?
Yeah, it says, my name is Geoff. All right, CJ Uzama, whatever his name is. We're just going to call him Big Uzi. So Big Uzi, available in 85% of leagues. He had 6 catches for 54 yards. He was a player that I was talking about last week. Go if you're in a pinch, go grab him, start him. The matchup was good for him. The Steelers aren't good against covering the tight ends. So, and Andy Dalton, he does like to look for the tight ends in the red zone. So, go pick him up if you need someone. Tyler Croft, who's the other tight end there, he broke his foot, so he's probably going to be out for some time. And then Tyler Eifert,
if your name's
broken.
Tyler and you play for the Bengals, most likely you're not available.
Unless you're Tyler Boyd.
Oh shit,
That guy, he good.
He good. Oh,
But
yeah,
go pick him up. CJ
So
Uzama,
stupid.
he was in the league he's on the field for 90+% of the snaps, so he's out there. And like I said, I mean, the tight end in the Cincinnati Bengals offense has some value, because that's a good offense, high volume. So I would definitely go pick him up. Available in 85% of leagues. And the tight end position is so thin, it's hard to, if you're starting people like Ricky Seals or I don't know, even Jeff Swaim, players like that, I would definitely have Uzama over some of those guys.
Right.
Over probably a majority of these guys. So go out there and pick them up. Another name, OJ Howard, available in 65% of leagues.
That is crazy.
Crazy. So just some stats on OJ Howard here. He's had 54 or more receiving yards in every single game he's played in that he's been healthy. And just another stat for Jameis Winston. I can't remember exactly what it was, but something about Jameis Winston, like he's thrown in his last 24 touchdown passes, 13 have gone to tight ends. So more than 50% of Jameis Winston's touchdowns are going to the tight end position. And we know how much he loves Brate. That's his dude.
Look, he Cameron Brate and OJ Howard did good, but everybody was afraid that OJ Howard wouldn't have done as well with Cameron Brate there because Jameis Winston loves him so much, but he ended up putting up more points than Cameron Brate did.
Yeah, I think Brate had. I was listening to it. Brate had a touchdown catch first drive.
Yeah, early,
and then he didn't. I don't think he had to catch the rest of the game.
I think he had. I think he had one in like the second quarter. But anyways, but yeah,
nothing, right?
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously OJ Howard, he's better than Brate. I mean, he's a first round pick. He's big body, big guy. You know, available in 65% of leagues. You know, people probably dropped him because he got hurt. They were coming off a bye too, and all this stuff.
I picked him up in 2 leagues, but I have Zach Ertz as my tight end and Gronkowski as my tight end in the 2 leagues I picked him up in. So it's kind of a weird spot, but
yeah, but maybe
you know.
Maybe you grab him, and now if he's good enough to be your tight end,
and package trade him.
Maybe that, or maybe you get frisky and you trade Gronk and someone, and you try to get like an Odell or
right.
I don't know, an AJ Green, Mike Evans, Devonta Adams. You know what I'm saying? Because Gronk has that name value. Gronk's been kind of slipping for me personally. So I mean, go get one of these tight ends. You know, fill that tight end slot. Make sure you have a good tight end available, and then if you have I don't know if I would trade Ertz because he good. But and he's getting like 10 plus targets every single game. But a guy like Gronk, I mean, if you pick up like an OJ Howard or some of these other tight ends who are good enough to put some points up there, maybe now try to trade Gronk and
right.
Trade Gronk and a running back, try and get like a Kamara or something.
Dude, you're the best coach ever.
Dude, you know what I'm saying? You're just always trying to improve your roster every week. So. For sure, do that. So again, just some players that are available that you should keep an eye on. Vance McDonald, available in 50% of leagues. You got Mike's sleeper of the week every week, Austin Hooper, Pooper, Scooper.
I don't know if I like him this week though.
But he's available in 45% of leagues. Like we were just saying though, that offense they're always going to be throwing the ball. It's kind of like the OJ Howard situation. They're always going to be behind. So I mean, he definitely should be owned. Evan Ingram, available in 35% of leagues. People probably
coming back.
Yeah, people probably dropped him because he got hurt. Eli looks like shit. If he's out there, go get him because he's got top 10 upside.
You guys got to remember last year when Odell was injured, Evan Ingram was going off week after week after week. It's not like they had a different quarterback. It's the same quarterback. It's the same situation pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, now they have Saquon, but I would argue that probably helps him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if Ingram's on the field, he's a top 10 talent at the position. So he definitely needs to be owned in 100% of leagues. I don't know why he's not available in 35% of leagues. A guy that I touched on last week, I might have even said try and go trade him if you can before he blew up. But David Njoku, available in 30% of leagues. So he had a pretty good game. The thing I noticed when Njoku is since Mayfield's taken over, it seems like he's one of his go-to guys. We always talk about a rookie quarterback. Their best friend is the tight end. So. Yeah. And Mayfield, when he was in Oklahoma, I've said it before. He targeted the tight end a ton. That was one of his weapons. And Njoku, I can't remember the stats exactly, but I know he had 6 catches, maybe 70 yards and a touchdown, somewhere along those lines. The touchdown. Do you see his touchdown catch? So he just kind of threw a jump ball to him, and the defender was literally had him boxed out, and then Njoku just jumped over him and plucked the ball right over him like monster. Bro, it's wild. So
really?
I mean, if you have a tight end who could do something like that, it's like. You don't even have to throw a dime. You just put a ball in the air, and he goes up and he makes a play, and he's good. So I think Njoku's going to finish the season as I'll probably say top 8 tight end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went out and I traded from him in one league.
Yeah, you did a pretty ballsy trade, right?
I traded Trey Burton for Njoku. So it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, Trey
That's
Burton,
pretty ballsy,
Trey Burton's been doing pretty good too because I think he had a touchdown again.
That's a pretty ballsy trade, dude. I mean, I don't think Njoku even got drafted in a lot of leagues.
I mean, yeah, look, he's available in 30% of leagues. So, speaking of Trey Burton, though, he's available in 20% of leagues. And I know PPR-wise, I think he's had nearly 10 or more points in every single game, 4 straight games. So, he definitely needs to be owned too. So, there's just some players, keep an eye out there if they're out there. And like I said, necessarily don't look for the projections, let me go to the tight ends and these tight ends are projected for the most. So those are the tight ends they're going to show you. Click the own percentage. See what tight ends are owned the most. And sometimes you'll get a tight end that's in there, and he'll be owned 80% of the league, but he's on your waiver wire. So that's like a Trey Burton, or like Njoku, he's owned in 70% of the leagues. Don't just follow the players that are projected the most for week 7 coming up, because those change consistently. Type in the names. Search for the players. a lot of these players are hiding. Especially if they're on a bye. Like let's just say, for example, like Vance McDonald. He's on a bye, so if you go look for him, he's not going to be up there because he's projected.
Yeah, you really have to scroll down.
He's projected to get 0 points. So you got to type in these names, or like I said, there's a tool you can use where it'll show you the own percentage of those players. So that's what I use a lot of times, and it'll show you the better players are obviously own more, so those players will jump to the top of the list. So just dig in there a little bit more. Don't just trust these ESPN projections and shit like that because they're all
the rankings. Yeah. Just when you go through your app, go through and filter and sort it out differently. Go whatever app you use, with whether it's NFL, ESPN, Yahoo, or whatever it is. Just go through and sort it. Go through and filter it out, and then that way you can just look at it differently. Don't just keep scrolling through it like you normally would. Actually filter it out differently. Yeah,
for sure. All right, so just some other players. I kind of was just writing some notes down that were available. We got an alert right now on the SleeperBot app. If you don't have SleeperBot, I don't know if we can plug it. I don't know if we can say it, maybe sponsor or whatever. But SleeperBot app, just download it on your phone. It shoots you alerts whenever anyone gets hurt right away in game.
It's probably one of the best tools I've had. Playing fantasy,
for sure,
it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah. So we're doing this. We're writing some stuff down, and then all of a sudden, zzz, it makes that weird noise. Zzz. So it comes out and it says something about, I didn't even know this. See, I would have never known this if I didn't have the SleeperBot app. But Marshawn Lynch, I guess he hurt his groin.
I think it was today in practice.
Yeah,
he strained it, which could be nothing, but
yeah. But they were saying something about strained groin. Those are kind of those soft tissue injuries are tricky. You know what I'm saying? You see like all these running backs like Fournette, Dalvin Cook. They got these hamstring injuries. They can't get on the field. Another player like Sproles, he's got a hamstring injury, can't get on the field.
God bless you. I feel bad for you. If you drafted Leonard Fournette and then Dalvin Cook, God, I'm sorry.
But So he's got a groin injury. So keep an eye on that and just see. But if not, a name you need to go get is Jalen Richard. Now we're always talking about running. Teams, their defense is bad, so they're throwing the ball a ton. That's the Raiders. Their defense is just terrible, and they're throwing the ball a ton. And Derek Carr is just captain check down. He's just every pass is within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So some numbers on Jalen Richard. He's at 11 or more PPR points in 4 of the 6 games, and he's had 6 or more receptions in 4 of those 6 games as well. So if there was a reason where Marshawn Lynch went down, he was out for the week.
What's his own percentage?
It was really low. I can't remember exactly, but maybe at like 10%, 15%.
Really?
It was down there. Yeah,
like nobody owns him.
I mean, who knows Jalen Richard? I mean, no one. So, I mean, he's producing, like I said, in a lot of these games they're down. So, he's getting these dump offs, 6+ receptions in 4 of the 6 games. I think he's getting like 50 or 60 total scrimmage yards every game too. So, just keep an eye. If you have Marshawn Lynch, he'd be a guy who I'd be grabbing to have on my bench just in case. I mean, I think it's a bye week, so maybe he has like a week to rest. But just to have him, you know what I'm saying? Because if something happened to Marshawn Lynch and he missed a game, I think Jalen Richard would definitely, his role would even expand even more. I mean, he could potentially get you like 15 to 20 PPR points, in a game. So some other running backs, Duke Johnson, he's available in 60%. I don't know what to do with Duke Johnson because I had him last year and he was balling for me PPR wise. He'd get me like not the sexiest name, not the sexiest games, but he'd get me like 10 to 12 points every single game.
They just made moves for Carlos Hyde, so it's like
So it's like I don't know. Like every week, like I pick him up, and then like I'm like, all right, maybe he'll, I'll pick him up, try to get there a week early, like I said, and then he shits the bed, so then I'll drop him, and then next week I'll be like, there's no one there, and I'll be like, well, he's got the potential, he did it last year, he finished top 15 or whatever. Let me pick him up. He shits the bed, so I drop him again. He's like my guy where like I drop, pick up. I can't even tell you, at least 10 times combined.
This week or this year?
Like combined in all my leagues, I've probably picked him up and dropped him like 10 times.
So
yeah. So this last game, I think he had a good game. I think he maybe had like 4 for 47 or something like that. I think he had a decent game. He's available in 60% of leagues.
Bro, just keep him on your team if you're doing that.
I don't know.
That's so much, dude.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But he's there, and he has the talent. Obviously, the Browns, they like him. They gave him an extension in the offseason. So the thing is with him, I think they need to incorporate him more into the offense because you can't expect Baker Mayfield to keep throwing the ball outside the numbers. I mean, they keep trying to make Antonio Callaway a thing, and it's just not there.
Yeah.
why not, do some dump offs to Duke Johnson, some screen passes to Duke Johnson, get him in space. I mean, we see perfect example, Albert Wilson, just get that guy the ball in space and let him do the work. It literally takes a dump off. Like, you think Osweiler's good? No, he threw a fucking 2-yard pass to this receiver
he's
and
tall.
he ran 80.
Tall quarterbacks, dude.
You're fucking wicked smart,
Tall
bro.
quarterbacks. Brock Osweiler. Mike Glennon. Who else?
They just work, bro.
They work, dude. They're good.
You're making some solid points here, dog. That was the name we missed. Brock Osweiler. Go pick. No, don't go pick him up.
Oh, wait. Right.
Don't go pick him up.
Oh. Yeah, no.
No. All right, so speaking about the Dolphins, though, you got your boy, the ageless wonder, Frank the Tank, available in 90% of leagues. So I don't get it. I mean, at the beginning of the year, being a Dolphin fan, they were talking about Drake and blah 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 and all that stuff, and they actually listed Frank Gore and Kenyon Drake as co-starters, and people were like, "What the fuck does that mean? Co-starters? What does that even mean?"
You're right.
Co-starters
means they don't believe in your boy Drake.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't believe him or maybe they just don't want to run him into the ground. But yeah, I mean, Frank Gore, he had over 100 yards.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a 50-year-old running back, wouldn't you just use him and abuse him?
I mean, he looks good still. He's running hard.
No,
I mean, he's Frank the Tank.
Do you think maybe he's like a robot or something?
I don't know, man. He's
real.
something else, man. Some of these players, they just have, something, I don't know, something else. But he's available in 90% of leagues. I mean, I guess he should be owned. The touches between him and Drake the last 3 weeks, it's kind of been like a 50-50 split. So the last 3 weeks, Frank Gore's had out-touched him 13-4, and then it was split down the even 12-13, and then last week it was split down the even 16-17. So it's pretty much like a 50-50 running back by committee there now. So I mean, if you're owning players like Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement, then you need to be owning Frank Gore.
Right.
If there's any of these players that are in a running back by committee, I mean, you got like a Royce Freeman and a Phillip Lindsay. You own both those guys, right?
Would you rather have Frank Gore or Royce Freeman on your team?
That one's tough. I mean, the hype is so big on Royce Freeman, but they're not giving him the ball.
Yeah.
They're not giving him the ball.
I would almost want Frank Gore more. I wouldn't want either.
And you got to think Devontae Booker's still over there getting some touches here and there, Yeah, that one's a tough one.
I mean, I have a league where I drafted Royce later on, and I picked up Phillip Lindsay after that first week, and I haven't played Royce one time.
Yeah.
And I've played Phillip Lindsay almost like every week.
Yeah, for sure.
In that double flex league.
But yeah, Frank Gore, I mean, he has more value than, like I said, someone on your bench. You could be having like a Peyton Barber or Ronald Jones on your bench, and Frank Gore probably has more value than. But if you have Duke Johnson on your bench, Frank Gore probably has more value than a Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
In a sense. So another name, Latavius Murray. He's 50% available. So Murray's value is kind of tied into Dalvin Cook and whether he's hurt or not or playing or not. So last game, this was kind of like hit or miss because one game Dalvin Cook was out and everyone, they're playing the Bills and everyone was like, fire up Latavius Murray. He's going to get a full workload against the Bills. And that was the game the Bills just, the NFL's rigged. They smacked the Vikings. And I think he didn't even get the ball. Like, he was non-existent. He put up like a 0 or a 1 or something. This week, no Dalvin Cook. Everyone's saying fire up Latavius Murray again. You might have been hesitant, but they were going against the Cardinals. They're the worst teams around in all the categories. Yeah. He had a big game. I think he had like over 150 yards, like a touchdown or 2. So his value is tied to Dalvin Cook and whether he comes back or not. But I mean, like we're saying, these hamstring injuries, they're tricky. And I think they're being pretty cautious with Dalvin Cook, holding him out until he's 100%. But I mean, for all you know, he comes out and boom, again, he strains the hammy. He's done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's on IR all of a sudden, So if you have a Dalvin Cook, you definitely need to have Latavius Murray as your handcuff, because if something happens to Dalvin Cook for the rest of the year, you have that replacement as the RB1 in that offense. So,
like you have always said, is like they paid Latavius Murray. It's like they paid him for a reason. Yeah, they're gonna use him.
Yeah, and I remember listening to an interview. They were interviewing Kyle Rudolph, the tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, and the guy was asking him like, "Hey, we already know like you're good. We know Thielen, Diggs, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook. We know you guys are good." He's like, "Give us a sleeper that you think that no one talks about that could make an impact, for fantasy wise." And Kyle Rudolph said Latavius Murray. He's like, I think people sleep on him. I think people don't give him enough credit for how good he is. But he's a big guy. He runs hard. He's strong. And so I mean, if this is, I get it. It's his team. Maybe he's biased, but if his own teammates coming out and supporting him, saying he's good. You know, and he should get some run. You know, he should definitely be owned. Like I said, especially if you have Dalvin Cook, you need to have Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
So, just another name to have. One more name, maybe just to touch on real quick. Jermaine Kearse. This is the wide receiver for the New York Jets. So this is kind of just like a theory I'm having right now. But, you know, we're always talking about rookie quarterbacks, best friends at tight end. Jets, they don't have a tight end. They have a rookie tight end. So in rookie tight ends, they don't make an impact. They don't have a receiving tight end. So that kind of jumps over to the slot guy. That's the next closest guy to the line. This is kind of where I feel like Enunwa was making his bread and butter at. You know, he was the slot guy, you know, because you had the other guys on the outside. And that's why Enunwa was just killing it. Jermaine Kearse was hurt this whole time. So he's back now. And I think he's been eating into taking over. Yeah, I think Jermaine Kearse is now the slot guy, and they moved Enunwa out to the outside.
That's why you're seeing Enunwa just not doing as well.
Not doing as good because these last 2 games he's been banged up. I think he's battling some injuries actually too. But yeah, so I think they moved Enunwa out from the slot to the outside, and now Jermaine Kearse is lining up in the slot. He had 9 catches for 94 yards on 10 targets. So I think he led the team in targets last game. So just a name to keep an eye on. I mean, if everyone thought Enunwa had value in that, you know, especially PPR-wise, now if you're moving Enunwa to the outside and you bring in Kearse and he plays the slot, maybe now he's getting all that production and all those targets that Enunwa was getting initially. You know, maybe it's not Enunwa, maybe it's just that slot receiver. So just a name to keep an eye on. He's available in a ton of fucking leagues because he's been hurt. But yeah, 9 for 94 off 10 targets. So,
ooh, I'm not mad at those numbers.
Keep an eye on him. I mean, maybe like I said, maybe sometimes you want to jump the gun. Be a week early. I mean, if you got an empty spot, you know, go grab him. You know, and if he has a shit game, you can drop him. But if he blows up for again, he catches like 8 for 72 and a touchdown. You know, people are gonna be like, oh shit, I'm gonna go grab him. You know, they're gonna go search for him. Boom, you already got him.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. All right, so there's some players right there. Just keep an eye on.
Do you want to talk about any?
I was gonna ask you because you're the mad scientist on the streaming defenses, bro. I was giving you credit earlier.
Bro,
remember?
Your boy picked up the Bengals defense.
24 points they put up that week.
2 weeks ago, got that fucking 25 points.
You picked up the Browns defense 1 week.
Yeah, Browns, and then I picked up. That was 3 weeks ago, or whenever that was. Week 4.
Put up double digits though.
Yeah. And then this past week, picked up Seattle's defense in like 3 of my leagues, and they put up like 18 points, 17 points. This week, dude, who I'm trying to pick up, and I'm really frustrated in one of the leagues. Some kid has them. But I'm picking up the Colts defense. Bills, what's their Allen, right?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, the Colts are playing the Bills. Yeah, obviously the Bills suck, but we have seen some defenses not do that great against the Bills. Vikings. You were excited when you saw your Vikings playing up against the Bills, and they got you nothing. But this is different. Josh Allen's out. So you got Nathan Peterman, or who else? Who's our other backup quarterback? They don't even know who they're going to play this week. So just based on that, Nathan Peterman loves just fucking everything up.
I think his nickname is Nathan the Pick Peterman.
Nathan, we picked him for no reason. Peterman, dude, he's fucking terrible. So. You look forward to getting pick up the Colts, man. I'm pretty sure they're available in most leagues. I mean, who the fuck who the fuck's playing it week in and week out Colts defense? This goes back into the drafting thing. Do not fucking draft defenses. Obviously, we're so far into the year. This is kind of retarded knowledge, but yeah, pick up Colts defense. I like Denver's defense too. Against Arizona too this week.
Yeah, for me, I know the Broncos defense has not been what you think of when you think of the Broncos defense. But
all you got is 58 there with the name value. But
yeah, but this week streaming defense, I picked up the Broncos. I'm going to start them in a couple leagues. They're playing in Arizona against Josh Rosen. Like I said, it's a rookie quarterback. I mean, you got Nick Chubb, you got Von Miller coming around the edge. The Cardinals offense.
Bradley Chubb.
Bradley Chubb. I said Nick Chubb. Yeah, Bradley Chubb. So you got Chubb and Von Miller coming off the edge. You still got Shane Ray. I mean, you got some good corners there. Adam Jones, Cliff Harris. The Cardinals offense isn't very good. So I can't imagine them coming out and scoring 30 points or whatever, So
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback, make some mistakes, hold on to the ball, maybe some strip sacks, fumble pick, something like that. So Broncos definitely like that. Just for touch on the Colts, like you were saying, even I was guilty of this, but last year they were terrible. And they're just giving it up like crazy. But I think they went out and they signed Mike Mitchell. He was from the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
So I think they got him. They have Malik Hooker. So if you're not, if you don't know who Malik Hooker is, he was a first-round talent from Ohio State. He was the best safety coming out of that class. So they have a stud safety, Malik Hooker. They got Mike Mitchell. They drafted this rookie middle linebacker. He was actually leading the NFL in tackles. And then he got hurt one week, so he missed a game, so he fell off. But the guy's a tackling machine.
Right.
He's like a tackling machine. So defense not that bad. I mean, you would think Colts defense not good, but I mean, like you said, they're not that bad. I definitely like that. So I think we're gonna have to come up with a segment, maybe the Mad Scientist Stream of the Week, streaming defense of the week or something, or what?
Something. We'll figure it out.
The Mad Scientist Stream of the Week.
The Daddy Do's pick of the week. The Daddy does the defense do. I don't know. I'm just saying words at this point.
Nailed it. Listen to him. He's been hot with these streaming defenses. Colts.
Yeah, watch the Colts get fucking -2 points.
Hey, it can happen, bro. I mean, look at the Bears. I like I said, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I would have said the Bears against Osweiler too. I would have thought the Bears would have put up 20 points. The Bears got me -1, and I lost by 1 point.
It's hard with Brock. You watch him just dick it so hard in Denver. When was that, last year?
Yeah.
So you watch him dick it so bad, and you're like, oh man, he's about to dick it again. But then before in Denver in the playoffs, he did pretty good. So it's like, is he gonna actually? So it was hard, but I definitely would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
If the Bears defense was available, but ever since Khalil Mack went, everybody picked him up. So there was no chance of you being able to stream him. Otherwise, I would have probably been in the same boat picking up this Bears defense.
For sure, yeah. They got -1. So it just shows you never know. Week to week, everything changes. So.
Yeah.
But all right, thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you put those claims in. If you got any questions, always shoot us some questions. Give us some advice. Give us a shout out. Appreciate you guys listening.
Appreciate it. Go check us out on the iTunes app if you're listening to us on there. Please just go and click that 5 stars. Give us a little rating. Say, oh, you guys are cool. I don't know what the fuck. Do something that really helps us out. Gives us a rating. It pushes us up in the podcast world. Go check us out on YouTube. It's we don't have a custom URL, but you just search Average Bros. We'll come up on there, like the 6th video down. But go check us out on YouTube. Full video format there. What else? Instagram, Average Bros _fantasy football. Twitter, Average Bros FFP. Check us out on all these things. Thanks, man.
Deuces.
Pesayete.